This is the point at which we'll say, welcome to Mobi. Mobi in Badagry happens to be a place you need to visit. Whenever you come to Badagry and you want to learn about what actually transpired in the city of Badagry and the whole of Nigeria, you need to come here to have a clear understanding of how our strong men were handled, mishandled, mismanaged, and misutilized by the so-called foreign powers that we are all crying and shouting hey to. I tell you, a visit to this place will open your eyes. You will discover the history of what our black men went through. I want to control myself. I do not want to see myself going too emotional about what has happened. But what this is driving me into is the fact that I want to be part of those that will make the ordinary black man to stand with their chest high and to say, we can do better. Once again, welcome to Mobi Museum, where heritage is well preserved. Follow me. Lying here, simply you are looking at 200 men lying there on the floor, because each of these cannon guns you are looking at is in exchange for 100 slaves per one. And you can imagine that that is just for the cannon gun. So having 2 cannon guns for 200 vibrant, fully agile Africans. And after the cannon gun has been gotten by these so-called slave masters, you still need to exchange another set of human beings to get the cannon gunpowder. Painful thing is that the exchange for this cannon gun, in which 200 African slaves had to go for, was actually a means of using our fellow black men to fight against ourselves, so that we can continue to sell our vibrant African youth into the hand of the so-called slave masters. But thank God that in the year 1886, the same cannon gun was part of what we, the Badagry people, use to demand for our freedom. Welcome to the place where history of what we Africans, the beautiful, natured, and well-forgiving. I tell you, Africans are very, very well forgiving. We forgive a lot because we only take somebody that can forgive to just forget about what has been done.
Here had a real change used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade. Transatlantic slave trade lasted for about 350 to 400 years in Badagry. And Badagry during that period was known to be a slave corridor. Just as the practice in Calabar, we have a slave market in Calabar called Young Slave Market. Here in Badagry, we have a market called Lekete Slave Market. Now, the black people usually bring their slaves to Badagry. They don't have access to the white people, so they sell to people of Badagry, while the people of Badagry sell to the white men. So, in the market days in Badagry, over 300 slaves are sold every market days. Over 17,000 slaves sold annually here in Badagry. So, the change here were used on our forefathers then, as soon as they hand over slaves to the white people, they preaching around them. And thank God for the life of the man buried there, Chief Sumbu Mobi. The father of the man buried there was a middleman between the whites and the black. He buys slaves from the black and sells to the white men. The father and other 7 chiefs in Badagry signed the Treaty of the Abolition of Slavery in the year 1852. But the Portuguese slave merchants were still coming to Badagry. The father died. The son doesn't like the business. So in the year 1886, he waged war against the Portuguese slave merchant. He now sees the last vessel that was leaving Badagry that year. The slave inside the vessel, these are the chains around their neck. The father was nicknamed Moby by the white men. Whenever they come around to buy slaves, the father, he doesn't understand English. So we always entertain the white people with kola nut. And he tells them Yoruba language, Mobije. These people doesn't understand what he was saying. So they gave him a nickname, Chief Moby. The family now adopts that name Moby as a family name. Moby is now a chieftain's title in Badagry of today. So if not for the son that waged war against them in the year 1886, the trade will last longer. And he died on the 16th October, 1893. This is grave. Back to the chain. This is called the neck lock. And this is what a slave will have around his or her neck. Work in the farm with this for 18 hours every day. While traveling, this will be around them for 3 to 4 months before they get to their final destination. You can feel the weight of the chain.
My goodness. My goodness. You know, my goodness. I'm trying to just gather words to express, oh my God. You know, if you can use this as gymming, you can use this to gym as a trainer. You can use this for workout. If this is actually what these guys have come here to do, then I wonder if they are really human beings. And the question that comes to mind is that when you subject a human being that is just like yourself to this kind of punishment, and you are also buying this slave to go and work out for you over there, how do you think they are going to even survive with this? Another part of it is the fact that I find it painful that some of our black brothers are also into this, selling fellow human beings to the whites. So painful a thing.
Yeah. So
like what's the weight of this chain?
This is close to 50 kg. The belief of the white men is if the slave can actually carry this for that long, they will have more strength. So if they can survive this, then they can withstand any situation in life. So this is called the neck lock, and this is called the mouth plate. We have 2 categories of slaves. We have slaves that work in the house, and we have slaves that work in the farm. Those that work in the house, we call them domestic slaves. Those that work in the farm, we call them field slaves or plantation slaves. Because the white people are afraid that when slaves communicate to one another while working on the farm, they may revolt. Or because they don't want them to eat while working on the farm, they pierce the lips of the plantation slaves, the lower and the upper lips. In the morning when they are set to go to the work, they put this on their mouth and padlock their mouth like this, for them not to eat or talk while working in the farm. This is called the light chain. Light chain, and this is used on the hands of the small children. There was a time these people look at it that coming down to Badagry is expensive. They have some people, they call them the breeders. Their job is to sleep with female slaves, impregnate them, just like we have baby factory today. Now, then your wealth will be determined by the numbers of slaves you have, not by the money you have in your account. So the children, as soon as they give birth, is from the day one is a slave. And these children were usually not allowed to move closer to their parents while working on the farm. So they usually group the children together. They chain them, like 3 of them, they chain their hands together, make them sit under a tree, far away from where their parents are working, for them not to distract their parents while working or step on what the parent has planted. So this is called a light chain. And this is a torture weapon. This is used on slave who refuse an order made by a white man, or for slave who refuse to work in the farm. They force their hand into this, down to the wrist. Most of the time they will need to break the bone before this will get to the wrist. After forcing this to the wrist, they made the slave climb a platform. The master also climbs the platform. Then they screw this up to a tall tree. The master comes down and removes the platform. The slave will now be suspended in the tree, dangling from morning to night. Most of the time they prefer to punish in the farm, so that while other slaves are working in the farm, they see that slaves, and that will serve as a deterrent to other slaves. This is called the ankle lock. And this is used on 2 slaves at a time. Whenever they are going out in the morning, They have this around their neck and this will be on their ankle. For two of them together, for them not to run away. Because their belief is once they move faster than the white people, they can remove this chain and run away. So this will have to be on their leg to reduce their movement. And two of them will have to share this.
Two legs in this. My goodness.
So the two of them, their leg, one leg, and they will need to work with this around their ankle.
My goodness.
At the same time.
I want us to just look at how bad could be spelt. Having two grown human legs in between this, and you still expect them to walk freely for you and to walk with a great mind. I wonder if this set of human beings are really carrying a heart around for them to be doing this.
This is called the branding iron. During the period of slavery, slaves don't bear name. They bear the name of their master. And for the master to be able to identify his slaves, he will need to write his name on the body of the slaves. So, as soon as they hand over slaves to them, they write their name on the body of the slaves. And also, like 10, 15 slave masters can come to Badagry at a time to buy slaves. They are using just one vessel to transport their slaves back to their destination. For them to be able to identify their slaves, they use this to write the name on the body of the slaves. They put this in fire when this is red hot, then they use it to write the name on the body of the slaves. And this is what we have adopted as fashion today. In Nigeria today, or Lagos or Abeokuta for example, we have some family with English names. These are the people that returned back after the abolition of slave trade. We have Brazilian quarters in Lagos. They returned back after the abolition of slave trade. These people were not from Lagos, but they have nowhere to go. They have to settle down in Brazil. In Lagos, you hear names like Smith, Cole, Darusha, Da Silva, Bucknor. All those names were not Nigerian names. They adopted names from the white people. So the white people usually use this to write name on their body, so as for them to be able to identify their slaves. The second function of this is to pierce the lips of the slaves before they padlock it. And the last function, the foot of any slave that tried to run away being captured. Running away is the greatest offense there. So whenever any slave tried to run away being captured, they put this in fire, put the leg of the slave on the fallen tree, and eat this into the foot of the slave while red hot. They pierce the leg or break the bone inside the leg. And that's why you call this branding iron or bone breaker. But in a situation whereby they are unable to capture that slave alive, they have dogs, they have trained to run after such slaves. As soon as the dog gets hold of the slaves, they cut off the throat of the slaves. And the dog will go back to the master with blood in his mouth. In a situation whereby the dog doesn't return on time, they release more dogs to go after the slave. The white people would rather prefer a slave to die than for that slave to run away. This was the money we spent in Africa in those days, cowries. But the white people doesn't recognize this as money. And that led to the introduction of trade by barter. During the period of slave trade, a bottle of dry gin, whiskey, brandy, or wine was in essence of 10 human beings.
10 good human beings. 10 good human beings are exchanged for just this. It shows how reckless these guys are. And it shows how less thinking some of us are to each other. 10 humans.
Even up to date, we believe that whatever that comes from their hand is better than whatever we have in Africa. Today now, we don't have anything of our own. We depend on the white people to survive in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. What we have is good enough to sustain us in Africa. Mirror was in essence of 10 human beings because our people have not seen themselves in a mirror before. So when they brought mirror to them, it was like a magic seeing themselves in a mirror. So for that, they were exchanging human beings for a mirror for 10 human beings. This is small size of the cannon gun outside. This was in essence of 40 human beings, and the big one for 100 human beings. Why do we need this? They brought this to us to wage war against ourselves, so that we capture slaves and sell back to the white people. Sir, during the period of slave trade, whenever the white people approach you for the business, if you refuse to join the trade, somebody close by is ready to sell you. Or the white people is ready to kill you and kill your entire family. Kill you, capture your people, and take them out of the country. So the only option you have is to join the trade. This Badagry we have presently is not the original Badagry. The original Badagry is at the back of the water, ahead of us. So it's because the white people were coming to capture our people was the reason why they moved down here. And when they moved down here, they negotiated with our head that, okay, we will not capture you people again. The only thing you can do for us is to helping us to buy slaves. Then we will settle. That was when they introduced the business to our forefathers in Badagry. Over there is a slave drinking water bowl.
What is this one?
That's Kolanut. It's the source of the Mobi family name.
Okay.
Here's the slave drinking water bowl. 40 to 50 slaves are meant to drink water from this bowl at a time. They drink with their hand being tied to the back. So they bend down, lip water like dog. Now for pregnant woman, for somebody who could not bend down, they give one handful of water for 1 day. In the course of trying to drink water, they push one another. They get caught by the edge of the pot. Their blood drips into the water. They will still have to drink the water like that because they have access to food and water once in a day. Over here, in British West Indies, slavery was abolished in the year 1833, and the British government and the Portuguese government used Badagry as a battleground in those days because both of them want to be in control of Badagry because of the slaves they are getting from here. So when the trade was abolished in the British government supported us in Badagry to wage war against the Portuguese slave nation. And you decide that most of the slaves taken out of Africa, majority of them were taken to Brazil. And that is why when you get to Brazil now, you see that most of our culture, the Yoruba land are practiced in Brazil. They went there with their gods. And any slave from that end usually trades their route back to Badagry. Because in Brazil, you see Yoruba people there. And the only place we have Yoruba in Africa is Nigeria. So, the trade was abolished in Australia in the year 1861 and United States in 1863. In Brazil, slave trade was abolished in the year 1886. That was 2 years after the trade was abolished in Badagry, when there was no slaves for them to sell in their market. The trade was abolished in Africa in the year 1870. That was 60 years after the trade was abolished in Africa. It was abolished in Badagry by the help of Shishubu Mobi. Now, Shishubu Mobi fought them in the year 1886. I don't know if it was an early missionary that came to Badagry that preached to him. All I know is that when they signed the Treaty of the Abolition of Slave Trade in the year 1852, the first missionary that came to Badagry, that is the Methodist missionary, and the Anglican missionary were those that witnessed the signing of the treaty signed by Badagry people and the British government in the year 1852. Lastly, what really made Badagry to be the biggest market in those days is the spirit attenuation well. We have this well at the point of no return and there is still water inside since that time till date. The water inside has not dried up. Why do we call it spirit attenuation well? Slaves were forced to drink from this well, make this recitation, after which they become less aggressive and lost their memory. The recitation goes thus: I am leaving this land, my spirit lives with me. I shall not come back now. My shackle do not break. It is the shackle that holds the ship down. My ancestor bear me witness, I shall not return. This land shall depart, my soul do not revolt. My spirit goes along with me, I depart to the land unknown, I shall not return. After reciting this and drinking from this water, they become less aggressive and lost their memory. You are welcome to Badagry. The microphone will give my name.
Oh!
Yes, sir.
Oh! Now I see the connection. Now I see the connection. You know, the way he was telling it, he wasn't telling it like a story. He was actually saying it based on experience from the family lineage that it belongs to. And I'm so happy that I'm standing side by side with one of the grandchildren of the man that was part of those that fought for the abolition of slave trade here in Nigeria, West Africa. And if I must say anything, is the fact that while you were telling us about this place, I was just like, if the so-called powers that be in Badagry, they were able to hypnotize people through this well, actually, why were they not able to use the same power to make the whites lose consciousness, lose their memory, lose their grip with respect to slave trade? But as you know what, sometimes you listen to history and you have so many questions left to be asked, because if actually they have used their supernatural powers to wage war against the so-called invaders, I don't think we'll be where we are today. But all the same, we are still so much very happy that we can have someone of repute, a family. I tell you, your family is a blessing. And someone of repute that could stand out. Even while his own father was part of those that were engaged in the business, but the son
never joined the trade.
But the son never joined the trade, and he decided to be a change. We are all in this place. We are going to these numerous places just because we want to be an agent of change. We are not trying to stir up anger of what has happened in the past, but we want us to remember where we are coming from so that we can be wiser and take the necessary step so that we don't get recaptured once again, because what is actually going on now is another form of slave trade. This time, the chains are not on our neck. The chains are not on our leg, but they are what? They are hanging in the minds and the hearts of people.
Modern slavery.
Yeah.
Now, we still practice it anyway in Africa.
Whoa.
Now, today they introduce to you, oh, I'm taking you out of the country, I'm giving you a business. But taking them out of the country, they use them for another thing entirely.
Exactly.
What about those people crossing the Atlantic Ocean to Libya? Most of them perish on their way. But if they have come to Badagry, see all these things, I don't think there's any need for us to want to go to a foreign, a strange man country, because over there they use us anyhow. So you need to see the black Americans anytime they come. They are treated like a second-class citizen. In fact, some of them wish they could come back to Nigeria. But with the present situation of our country,
wow, that's where we have come to make a change. And let me quickly tell you, part of the reason why we are here is to help pick one or two, when I mean one or two, as many that we could help here that are youth that want to learn a craft or the other, but their parents are not financially okay. Our foundation will pay for their training, and after some time we monitor them. When they are serious, we buy them the startup machine. So in case, I'm sure we are not going to lose contact.
no problem.
In case you have any youth that is serious, that
across
want to learn,
yes, sir.
we are here to help. It's high time we stop this this nonsense of trying to walk out of the country instead of improving it. Be a difference and make a difference. Thank you.
In part 2 of this documentary, I shall be taking you to the Seriki Abbas Williams slave barracoon, and surprisingly, we were met with the greatest shock of our lifetime. I discovered my paternal root here in Badagry. Little did we know that the local king of that community was my uncle, as he screamed when he heard me mention my father's name and talking to my kids that my dad is from this village, but we never know our paternal family. Little did we know that the same king was my uncle, my father's brother from the mother's side. And from there we shall be proceeding to the point of no return, where our African brothers and sisters were shipped just like ordinary animals. To wrap it up, we got some youth in the village that are requesting for empowerment, and immediately we bought the machine for one of them.